Hello everybody. This is a little bit of a different type of video, if you haven't realized. So, normally my YouTube channel is about making guides about certain perks, about what they do, what's the best types of other perks to help them out, all that stuff. But I decided, you know what? I want to help people understand a little bit more than just what a perk does. I want to show them how to loop against certain killers, how to actually play DBD in a little bit more of a, not idealized, but more just like understand what's going on the screen, what you should pay attention to, how to understand, oh, maybe I should pay attention to object A or object B, or survivor A or B, or even the killer in some situations. Regardless, though, we are talking about Freddy. First things first, I don't have audio for the gameplay. The main reason was that there was a glitch, and now the audio is extremely staticky, and I am not dealing with that nonsense. So the video is going to be mute. I'm probably gonna have some music in the background, obviously matching the video's creepiness. Regardless though, let's just play the video a little bit. We start the game on Wrecker's Yard. A pretty fair map, to say the least. It's a little bit big, but it's not as big as, like, Red Forest maps, so we can deal with this. Also, if you noticed in the background, everything is white, and there's weird black dots on the screen. And if you don't know why, just give it a second, and you now see. Okay, so just give me a second. There we go. That should deal with it. So, what we are dealing with in this situation is a Freddy. If you look at the little screen here, let me change to yellow. You see that everyone is asleep. Why is this the case? Well, it's because of this little item here. This is an add-on that belongs to Freddy. This is called the red paintbrush, and if we go to our ever so lovely DBD wiki, we can see that the red paintbrush, what this thing does, is that all survivors start the trial inside the dream world, and failing a skill check will no longer allow survivors to wake up. So what does this mean? So let's go back to the video. So there's a gen over here, yeah? If we go to the gen, normally when you are asleep, when you see like a skill check, and you're just like, if I miss the skill check, the generator explodes, yeah? Or if I apply first aid to a survivor, if I miss a skill check and I hurt them, normally my sleepiness goes away, and I go back awake, right? This isn't the case. When you are up against a red paintbrush Freddy, whether you miss the skill check on a generator and make it explode or hurt a survivor when missing a skill check, you will not wake up from this. So that's the first thing to get out of the way. Now, I think a lot of you may ask, what is my idea about sleep? So, when you play against Freddy, you may see like a little white dot in the background there. There are multiple ways to wake up from Freddy's power. One of the most common ways is through the alarm clock, which makes it so for 30 seconds you're immune to falling asleep. So there's like a little timer on the screen that's yellow, and it says, hey, if Freddy were to hit you, you won't fall asleep. I don't like waking up. I find it to be too much of a chore sometimes, but there are points where I prefer to wake up. So let me explain what I mean. So there are two powers that Freddy has. He can choose one of them as default, which is the Dream Snare, which I will represent with this purple circle. And the second one being Dream Pallets, which I will represent with this blue block. Okay, so when a survivor, let me just draw a little stick figure here. When he walks into a snare, he is slowed by 15%, and the snare lasts for like 5 or 3 seconds. I don't have the exact data. You can just go to DBD Wiki and they'll just tell you everything. But pretty much, when you walk into the snare, it will slow you by 15%, and that's a little bit sad, but I don't really care. Like, the slowdown is harsh, yeah, but you can tolerate it. There are times where you shouldn't run into the snare because it could be the end of everything. But the snare, at the same time, you can deal with it. It's nothing too nightmarish. You know where it is. So you can either run around it, you can run away from it, you can run past it. There are multiple things you can do. Or you can even run into it so other survivors don't run into it. Like, I would trip the snare to help teammates out. However, don't do that if you're in a chase from a Freddy, because if you were chased by evil knife hand man and he's about to hit you, it's not wise to run into the snare. I'm just stating the obvious here now. Okay, let's move on to pallets. There's a certain add-on that Freddy can equip. I don't have it memorized. It's one of the... Hold on, we can look for it. It's a green one. I think it's... Yeah, it's the paint thinner. What paint thinner does is it replaces your dream snares with dream pallets. So, what dream pallets do is, normally when you drop a pallet, it's like, oh no, I just dropped a pallet, now the killer has to break it in order to go through. Ah! This isn't the case with dream pallets. When you drop them, they explode in blood, and they don't block the way. They are pretty much just an optical illusion. So you get tricked into dropping it down, it blows up, and Freddy hits you. The only way it actually stuns Freddy is if it's bugged, which was the case a patch or so ago. Okay, so this is my idea. When you are up against a dream snare, I would wake up 30% of the time. There would be cases where sometimes, oh, maybe it's better to wake up rather than stay asleep. For example, if I want to counter Freddy's second power, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But most of the time, staying asleep isn't the end of the world against snares. As for dream pallets, I would wake up from this about 80% of the time. The main reason is I am not the smartest person. I will get fooled by dream pallets because there's no way to tell the difference between the two, except that one of them explodes and the other one doesn't. But the only way you can tell is if you drop the pallet, and normally you drop the pallet at the last second. So that's a little bit oof. So, like, if you're smart enough, you don't need to wake up against dream pallets. Like, dream pallets aren't anything to be frightened of, except at the last second when you're just like, oh no, Freddy's gonna hit me. But in the end, it's tolerable. Okay. Enough gobbling on about stuff. Let's just get to the video. So, I spawned with two teammates. We have one of the Claudettes and one of the Kates. So we have you and you. Or maybe this one. Regardless though, we know where two people are. We don't know where the other one is. I'm just gonna mark this one. So, she could have spawned all the way over there. She could have spawned all the way over there. She could have spawned, like, maybe even in here. We have no clue. But the one thing we have to be aware of, I'm going to switch to yellow because it's a little bit more brighter, is look around. Since we're playing against Freddy, he has us oblivious, meaning that we don't have a normal terror radius. It's a lullaby. And the lullaby is omnidirectional, meaning that although we do hear the lullaby, we can't tell the direction it's coming from. We can tell it's getting louder, but we don't know where it's coming from, meaning we have to look around. So normally when you're working on a gen, regardless if you're up against a Freddy, a Ghostface, or even Bunny Lady, we need to look around all the time to keep our eyes open of where enemies are. And this also allows us to know, hey, something is over there or over there. So let's keep on playing through. Okay, we can see that there's a loop over here. This is the short wall. The long wall is on the other side with a pallet. We can see our alarm clock is all the way on the other side of the map. We cannot see Freddy anywhere. We are just looking around, trying to get information of where he is. Okay, so I'm gonna rewind by 10 seconds. If you notice the Claudette move, it's because we can now see that, oh, she has spine chill, meaning that she is moving this way because someone is looking at her from here, or maybe over here, or maybe over here. But the reason I say over here is because we can already see Freddy. Hello. We see a little figure in the distance. We can tell this isn't the second Claudette, no, because Claudette doesn't walk like that. Not only that, but we have a little fedora over here, a little weird hand over here, and the weird striped sweater over here. So in this situation, you let go of the gen, and you just run. The best move is to run this way. Although there's a pallet over here, there's a chance that he will see you running this way, and he will turn and cut you off here. Even if you drop the pallet, you wasted utility. It's better off just to run somewhere else so he has to catch up to you. That way everyone else gets some time. So Claudia is running this way, Kate is still over here, we are still over here, we need to start moving now. So what do? We see him, we let go of the gen, and we move. And immediately we get information from this. Just from letting go of the gen, we have 3 things to be aware of. The first thing, he has ruin. Meaning that as soon as we let go of a generator, it'll start regressing, meaning he will get pressure. We don't know where the totem is, but we now know that he has ruin in the game. We don't know any other perks, but now we know one of these 4 perks, that being ruin. This could mean that maybe number 2 is Undying. Or maybe something else, like Retribution, or Devour, or etc, etc, etc. We don't know. We know one of these perks, but the other 4 are just a mystery right now. So that's information number 1. We know he has ruin. Information number 2. We have a pallet right here. Meaning that we have a loop that we can run towards if we need to escape. Or we can run around this, because this is just a normal circle loop. We can run around here if we want to get some extra distance, if we feel a bit cheeky, but normally that's not the case. So, information number 2. We have a pallet loop. Not the best pallet loop, it's pretty short, but it's still a pallet. Number 3, we have truck. Now, the truck isn't too much info. We can see that the window is over here. If we are to run all the way to this truck, if he's to follow us, what we can do is either we can go this way, through the other side, or we can go all the way here and vault. It'll be a slow vault, and it's really, really hard to get a fast vault. I don't even think it's possible. But we can vault this, and if Freddy is too slow, we can get away with a little bit of distance. So we have 3 things. We have ruin, we have the pallet, and we have a truck. That's all we know so far. Let's continue on. We run all the way to this loop to see what's going on. As soon as we see this Claudette get injured, we know he's no longer on us. So now what we do is we run away and go onto a gen on the opposite side. So that way Claudette can loop him for a little bit and we can work on some pressure. Okay, so one more thing to point out. Some people don't know this, but with generators on the outside, outdoor areas, you can tell where a generator is by looking up and you'll see these lights. If the light isn't on, it means it's an inactive gen. And you can tell that this is a generator because there's a little pole that goes all the way down here and it's just like, oh, the little generator here. So we know there's a generator over here. And this is an LT wall. I'm going to talk about LT walls in a little bit, but just so you know, I use this LT wall very religiously, pretty much, in this video. So let's keep on moving. We see there's another gen over there. We are running all the way here to wake ourselves up. And the Claudette just got downed. That was not even like 10 or 12 seconds, and she already got downed, meaning two things. One, that means our Claudette isn't a very strong looper. Or two, the Freddy knows how to deal with us. Either he has dream palettes, which allowed him to trick the Claudette to get her, or she got tripped a dream snare and was too slow to reach any loop, or she was in a dead zone. One of those three options. Regardless, though, we also see some lights up here, meaning there's a gen around here, which is around the area where we can wake ourselves up. What I'm going to do in this situation is I'm going to run to this and wake up, and then I'm going to work on this gen over here. The reason being, I have no clue what his power is. I don't know if it's dream snares, I don't know if it's pallets, and right now, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to figure it out at the last second. So I'm gonna wake up, and with me waking up, I also do one more thing. I negate his second power a little bit. And I'll talk about that in a second. We see the second Claudette is over here. She's about like 30 or 40% done. And right here, this is the second part of Freddy's power. So Freddy has a charge meter on his power. What the charge meter does is when it's full, it allows him to teleport to any inactive gen. So this gen is not fully powered, meaning he can teleport towards it. You can tell that he's teleporting because, Red's gooey blood is spewing out. Oh no, Fedora Man is coming. So, either he goes completely and teleports to this gen, or he can cancel it. However, his meter, it goes like this, like, oh, full. But, however, it charges up a lot more faster the more people that are asleep. We have me, who is completely awake and with a immunity to sleep for 30 seconds. We have the first Claudette, who is on a hook and is not asleep. And then we have two people who are asleep. Meaning that his power is charging up a little bit faster than normal. But it's not as fast as it should be if all of us were asleep. So in this case, he's faking it, because as soon as we run here to try and avoid him, we see that he's not there. I mean, he was just faking it to get the gen regressing. And then we run back and start working on the gen. It takes Claudette a little bit longer to get back to the gen. But that's fine. We keep on working, and it's around here that I start moving, like so. Let me just pause real quick. Okay. So first things first. Claudette is all the way over here. She's hooked. We know she doesn't have Kindred. So we don't know where Kate is. She's missing. We know where the second Claudette is. She's all the way back there working on the gen. And it's about like 70% done. We have two perks to help not only Claudette but us. We have Borrowed Time. So when we unhook the Claudette, she is protected by the yellow aura of Endurance, meaning that she will not die. Then we have Deliverance. I already talked about Deliverance in one of my videos, but pretty much if you are hooked, you have a 100% chance of escaping if you safely unhooked someone before. So, I am running to save this Claudette for two reasons. One, she's already very close to struggle phase. Like, she has 20-ish seconds left. And two, I want to get this Deliverance out and active, so that way I'm a little bit safe when Freddy comes around. So we keep on moving. I see a pallet over there, I see a gen over there, a gen over there, and that's when Freddy pops up. I should have realized that Freddy was relatively close. One thing I could have done was I could have looped him around this car, dropped the pallet, and then run and save the Claudette. But instead, what I did was, instead of going this way to the pallet where I could just drop it and then run to the Claudette to fetch her, I instead ran this way. Because I was thinking, oh, I can get some more distance around the truck. But that was wrong, and he slaps us, and we're back asleep. Two things here. One, when Freddy hit us, we got a speed boost, which allowed us to get to Claudette a little bit faster, which is nice. And number two, I'm switching to blue for this. We have Ruin. Question mark? It could be Ruin. It could be something else too. But one way we can tell that this is Ruin, and not Undying or anything else, is like this. When we are running, normally what would happen is we can tell if Undying is a thing, because how Undying works is at a totem, there's like a radius. It's about like 3 or 5 meters. When a survivor enters this radius, a little indicator will pop up in the screen over here, and it'll say Hex Undying, meaning that, hey, the killer can see you on a lit or dull totem. Since that indicator did not pop up, that means that this is not Undying, and this could be Ruin, or any other Hex totem. But this means Undying is not in the game, meaning that Ruin, as soon as it's broken, it's gone. Now, we are close to the Claudette. We have Borrowed Time, we have Deliverance, and we have Dead Hard. So, one thing we can do is we can save this Claudette. We can Dead Hard once we finish the animation of unhooking her. So that way, when Freddy goes to swipe us with his evil little claws, like, ooh, scary, when he goes like, pwah, instead of hitting me, I Dead Hard away, and he hits the Claudette, which is inflicted with Borrowed Time. Let's see this in action. Oh, my mistake. Let's see this in action. I go unhook her. One thing I could have done was instead run around to unhook her on the other side, but I was a little bit worried about Freddy lunge. So I unhook her. After the animation is done, I Dead Hard, and he hits the Claudette. So Claudette is safe. She had Borrowed Time, so she managed to get some speed away. But now we see this. We now know that this is Dream Snare Freddy. We don't have to worry about pallets breaking on us, and all we have to worry about is slowdown. Which is really nice. We aren't running over it, so we don't get slowed, because we don't know if Freddy is chasing us or not. We keep on moving, we see the Claudette, and I believe here I don't hear Freddy's lullaby, so we ask her for a heal. Which is really nice of her. And then we see the second Claudette come to heal us up, and pretty much we mend her and heal her up. So, one mistake that I make here is I'm not looking around enough. I should be looking 360 degrees. Because the Claudette just ran here. We don't know where Freddy is. We don't know if he's chasing the Kate. We don't know if he's looking for us. We don't know if he's gonna come through this way, or this way, or this way, or this way. Actually, he can't come through that way. That spot is empty. But we don't know where he is. He could be somewhere around in this cone of area. We know he's not here, 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 because it's empty. And he was over there. So we have to look behind us and to the side. But I don't do that. And that is my mistake. So we mend the Claudette and heal her up. And I'm not looking around properly. We heal her up, and we begin to move. I slow down because I hear Freddy's Terror Radius maybe, or Lullaby maybe. And once he's gone, I go and I wake myself up. Because I want to counteract T's secondary power. And then I start moving. I am moving to the totem. Because Ruin is in the game, I want to get rid of the slowdown. I know that the totem is over here. So I'm going to break it. And one thing we also know is that he just downed someone all the way over here. He's going to go over there. And the only gen he has is like over here or all the way over there. Meaning that even if he teleports to try and stop the ruin being broken, it's not gonna happen. So we keep on moving to try and save Claudette. He hits the Claudette, and I'm gonna freeze real quick here. We see that Kate is all the way over here. So we now know where one of our teammates are, that being the Kate, but we have no idea where this Claudette is. We know where she is. She's right here. We're unhooking her. And we know where we are. We are right here. But we now don't know where the killer is, and we don't know where the second Claudette is. So we have to be careful. We unhook the second Claudette to try and get our borrowed time. And we get hit. It was honestly my mistake. I should have been more aware of where Freddy was. I should have probably ran backwards to the truck, or maybe to the pallet loop there. That was just my mistake. I should have realized that Freddy was around. Regardless though, he hit us. We have Dead Hard. We have Deliverance. So even if we get downed, if we're near Hook, we'll still be fine. Kate is hiding in the back there, and we are at the LT wall. I'm going to show a little bit of a mistake I make here. So, this is how LT walls work. I'm just going to give a brief description. So, here is the T, and here is the L. Let's say we are over here, and the killer's all the way over here. As Survivor, what you want to do is you want to run to a wall and stay as tight to the wall as possible, so that way you make the most maximum distance. Because if you were to go the other way, where you go a little bit more open and a little bit more like this, you lose a bit of distance, and with that the killer can catch you. Outside of that, oh, I didn't mean to do that one. Let me mark the killer back there. When you are in the LT wall, when you're at the L, you want to stay around the corner here, near the window. You want to look at the corner here, and the corner here. If you see a red stain here, you run this way, or to a different loop somewhere, which in this case is Killer Shack. Or you want to move this way, and keep an eye out. You want to move all the way here. If you see that the killer is now coming through this way, you want to run this way, either to a new loop, or try and get to this T. If you want to stick here, you can run here, stick close to the wall, look back here. If you see a red stain, you can go here and fast vault if you see that he's over here now, or you can run around this way to the L. There are multiple things you can do at LT wall, but in this case, I make a mistake of going a little bit too wide. I'm looking around the corners, I don't see him, and I run this way. I hear the lullaby getting quieter, and because of that, I'm able to get away with a heal with Kate. Taking a sip of apple juice. Okay. So we have 2 people injured, now 1. We have to get progress. So, let me point something out real quick. One of the things that I love to do as killer, which measures my pressure, is I like to look at how many hooks I've gotten. If there are 5 gens left, and I've gotten 2 downs, or 2 hooks, I'm a happy boy. The reason being is I have pressure. 2 people are already in struggle phase. And the other 2 I haven't found yet, but some of them had to waste a bit of time, either thinking, oh, I should go save this person, or not. In this case, it's not 5, it's 4 gens. But we have 4 gens down, 2 people are already on second hook, and 2 people which haven't been hooked once yet. And we've already wasted time healing, we've gotten rid of Ruin, we need to start working on gens and getting some pressure. The biggest thing you need to remember as Survivor is pressure. You need to get it. If the killer is running, and he only gets one down, if the killer was, or if the Survivor was smart enough and was able to loop around pallets and tiles efficiently, if everyone was working on different gens, 3 gens are gone, meaning that we have 2 gens left, and the killer has only 1 hook. Meaning that out of all of that pressure just to get this one guy, he or she has lost 3 gens, is now stuck with 2. We have lost 2 people, a hook state on 2 people, and we've only done 1 gen. We could have done a lot more efficiently. Regardless, though, we are now working on that. So I'm working on this gen, and you can... One thing I'm gonna pause again, I'm sorry about pausing so much, but I just want to get info out. You can tell that this Claudia is being chased. First of all, she got injured, but second of all, because of these little tendril things around her. That means she's the obsession. And those tendrils like to move whenever the person's being chased. That's just a fun little fact so you are aware of why those things move sometimes and why they don't. Okay. So we're just looking around. The Claudette just got downed. That's really sad, because we aren't even 30% through this gen. She gets hooked. She's on stage 2. The bar turns red and blood's gushing out. Ah, Freddy is coming. And now we know that Freddy is here. We saw his bloodstain. But here's a mistake I made. I'm going to draw the... Oh, hold on. I'm going to draw the LT wall once again. The mistake I made was I'm over here, working on the gen. The Kate is over here. Freddy is spawning right on top of me. So the smart move is to run this way to this window so you can fast vault it. I didn't look this way, however. And because of that, instead of running all the way here to fast vault, this is what happens. I instead ran pretty much into the wall here. Meaning I have to waste my time running around through here to get to the window on the L. Which leads to me getting hit. Now, you could have avoided it. For example, you could have done a spin, or you could have done anything else. Maybe you could have tricked the killer with a FOV tech or whatever. But in that case, there wasn't much you could do, and you were just gonna get hit. I see a snares over here. I trip it, so that way no one else will run into it. I'm keeping my eyes. I see him at the window. I run to the other way. I see him vaulting, so I can run this way. I got slowed again because of the snare, so I just keep on running this way. I run back. The reason being is because with that loop, it's a small block, a long block, maybe a Tetris block like this, and then there's a pallet here too. But the pallet is gone now, so let me get rid of that. The killer is running this way. I am all the way over here. So, unless the killer moonwalks, so if they are going like this, and I don't see them, my thought process is that, oh, he's going to go straight through here, and he's going to try and slap me. So my process is, I have to run this way. And as soon as I run this way, the killer turns, and he sees, and he's going this way now too. So I'm running all the way to the window here. I turned around a little bit earlier, I saw they was close, and I have to drop. The reason being, I do not have the distance. I have to drop this Killer Shack pallet. I'm sad about it, but I needed to keep some distance. And because of that, he hits the pallet. Maybe if I didn't drop it, he would have missed. But regardless, he now has to waste time either breaking it or walking around it. And in this case, he walked around it. So around the truck here, or the crane, I'm keeping my eyes open. What I'm doing is I'm looking for his red stain. If I see it over here, I run this way. If I see it over here, I run this way. All the way around here to this, either to the pallet up there or up into this building. Or up inside of the crane. In this case, I run up to the crane. I see him, I run up, and then because I ran straight, I managed to get a fast fault. He swung, but he missed. Once again, I'm keeping my eyes open, side to side, looking for bloodstains. I see him over there. Keep on moving, look around for bloodstains again. I see him there, and I drop a pallet. I could have saved the pallet and just run up the crane and vault again, excuse me. But I was unaware of if he was too close. Regardless, though, I drop the pallet, and he decides, okay, enough's enough, I'm dropping the chase. So we see he's all the way over there. We see a snare there, and Kate is here to heal us back up. We are keeping our ears open for Lullaby. The Claudette is luckily safe. Everyone except me is healthy. He teleports to that gen, however, he didn't hear our grunts of pain, or my grunts of pain. I ran over here. Luckily he didn't, because I wanted to be careful. He didn't hear our grunts of pain, so we're fine. So I'm just busy running, either to wake myself up, or to work on a gen. In this case, I'm running to work on a gen. I'm keeping my eyes open, and I see immediately I'm in chase again with Freddy. Now, I'm just gonna rewind 10 seconds. As soon as I see him, the best process would to be run this way, or to run around here. But I'm thinking in this case, this was the best option. The main reason is he has to get out of this loop, or this window, and he has to run this way, around this chest, meaning a little bit extra time. And I was a little bit slow on the uptake, but once I managed to get some distance, I managed to fast vault, luckily, and there was enough distance that he luckily didn't get the hit. I see that that the shack pallet is here, and there's still a snare outside. Alright, and I heard that he was kicking the pallets. I'm running, looking for a loop I can run around just in case, and I see that the pallet is still there. He's now running for something else, and I trip the snare. So that way, if I have to run there, or if someone else has to run there, we are fine. Claudia is working here now. We finished 1 gen through that whole process. So we have 3 gens down, 1 person is on death hook, 1 person is in struggle, and 2 are fine. Okay, so here. This was my mistake. I should have looked around and noticed that there was a gen all the way over there. The reason the Claudette was hiding is because we heard Lullaby first of all, and second of all, I believe that she was the one who had spine chill. So, Freddy was looking at us, so I'm thinking, oh, Freddy is looking at her and she's hiding, meaning that Freddy is going to come from this way, right? However, there is a gen all the way back there, and he's teleporting to it, and he's going to swing, and he's going to hit this Claudette. And this is a mistake both on me and Claudette for not realizing he was there. So we keep on moving. I'm running to the pallet so that way I can get a loop. I see that he's not on me, so I run back. I see the Claudette is over here. She's still injured. She's running this way, means she's looping the Freddy. I'm going to instead now work on this gen. It's at 60% completion, so it's better to get it out. I tripped the snare, so that way if Claudette runs back here, she doesn't get slowed, and she just got downed. We got an indicator. Another gen was just done. So 3 gens are done. 2 people are now going to... 1 person is in struggle phase, about to be death hook. Another person on death hook. And then me and Kate haven't been hooked once yet. I'm now working with the Claudette who has proved thyself, and I'm now keeping my eye open for this gen, now that I know that there's a generator that Freddy can teleport to over there. And Freddy just showed up. In this case, you want to wait here, and see if Freddy comes this way, you run this way. If Freddy goes through this way, you run this way. And if he moonwalks, then you just got outplayed. Normally, just wait a little bit, like 1 second or 0.5 seconds before making a decision. Sometimes you can't make a decision, you just have to be brave and go, I'm going this or that way. In this case, we went this way. Because we see him, and we have no other loop we can go towards except the pallet over here. So we run this way. We stuck here just a second to see where he was going. And now we see he's on the Claudette. So we run behind the Claudette because she's on death hook, first of all. And second of all, we are healthy and we haven't been hooked yet. So if we get downed, Claudette will still be able to get some distance. She will be fine. We can unhook ourselves with Deliverance. We have Dead Hard. We are fine. This is where I made the biggest mistake of the game. When we are running, I'm not looking around, so I don't know where Freddy is, and because of this, I accidentally sandbagged our Claudette. And since I didn't have anything to help out, such as a flashlight or a flashbang, Claudette got hooked, and we just lost a player. Normally, in this case, we are doomed. We just lost a player. We have 3 people left. 1 person's on death hook. And the 2 of us haven't been hooked yet. And if this read like 3 or 4, this game was going to be really challenging. However, we have 1 gen left. We have 2 people who can loop this killer. And if they get hooked, it's fine because this one can unhook themselves luckily. And the other one can get borrowed time if I go and save her. And we have time to stay on the hook as long as possible. So if he decides to face camp one of us, we can get the gen done, the exit gates opened, and even if we die, the other 2 escape. Excuse me. We are running all the way to the alarm clock. Because most likely we have nothing else really to do in this scenario. We woke up trying to counteract Freddy's power. We see him on the hill up there. We go and wait in the corner here to see if Freddy is going to come after us or if he's going to commit to Kate. In this situation, he's right here. He's going to go this way. So what we do is this. We see that he's on us. We stick here, make sure that he's following us. We have to drop the pallet and we got a stun, which is good. We don't stick to this loop because it's now become unsafe. We only have a window all the way back here, and that window isn't going to help us. Because on one side you can fast vault and on the other side it's really hard to fast vault. So the best move is to run to the LT. Which is what we do. Sadly we interrupt Claudette, who did manage to get a totem. We are running, keeping our eyes open, and you may be wondering, how did Freddy get back there? Well, there was most likely a gen all the way back. We run, we see Kate is working on that gen, so we stick to the LT wall, sticking close to the walls as possible. We trip the snare just in case. We work on the gen, and we see Freddy is coming towards us. We go back to the jungle gym loop. We see that he's committing to us. We fast vault this window. He's walking around it. We go sticking close to the wall as much as possible. He swings and he misses. Now we're running to the LT wall to try and get some extra time for the Kate to finish the gen. He swings and misses again. We stick close to the wall, keeping an eye on his blood stain to make sure where he is. He just teleported. We run to the other side of the T. We're keeping an eye out on where he is. We see him. I have to dead hard here, because this is my mistake. Once again, I'm keeping my eye open over here, because I'm thinking, oh, I'll be able to see him. But then I take my eye off for a split second, I just realized there was the red stain. I didn't see that before. And because of that, he's going to try and swing for us. But luckily, because we have Dead Hard, we can just dash to get some extra distance and to avoid the Freddy lunge. We take the vault again and we run around the chest, sticking close to walls as much as possible. Keeping our eyes on the bloodstains to make sure, or they're the red stain. Now, the reason we slow vaulted, normally that would have been a fast vault, but because we were slowed because of the snare, we medium vaulted. And because of that, we got downed, but it doesn't matter. Every single gen is done. The Claudette is Death Hook. She is nowhere near here. The Claudette just finished, and she just ran up the hill. We have an exit gate over there. An exit gate all the way over there. So, if the Claudette is all the way over there, she'll obviously work on the exit gate over there. And we are thinking, oh, Kate's gonna run here and work on this exit gate. That sadly isn't the case. We are recovering. She's still on top of the hill. We see the Claudette is over there, so she's gonna work on that exit gate. Excuse me again. Kate just got hit, and we're gonna get picked up. And basement is here. Now, basement is a really bad loop or a bad area for us, but since we have Dead Hard and Deliverance, we can unhook ourselves and use Dead Hard if needed. Okay, we got hooked. We see he placed a snare over here, and now we're looking around. We're trying to see where everyone is. We can see the Claudette is crouched over here, most likely near Crane, one of the car pallets maybe. But we don't see Kate. Kate is hiding in a locker somewhere. So we stay until we see if Freddy chases someone. We see that Kate was hiding in the locker here. And I don't want her to unhook me, because I want her to run away. So that way I'm left alone. I unhook myself. She runs down, sadly. I have to Dead Hard so that way he doesn't hit me, and he hits Kate, which is really sad. Now, normally, in this case, you would get healed by Claudette and go like, ah, yes, heal me up, and we go and save the Kate. But since I am broken now, because of Deliverance, we can't do that. So I am praying that the Claudette can work on that exit gate, which is already 99'd, actually. I'm hoping that she can go and get the save. Also, one more thing to note. Let me just rewind a little bit. Let's go all the way back here. It's the end game. Kate just got hit, meaning we now know that he had Ruin, but either every single totem was broken in the match, or he doesn't have Noed. So, Noed... Whoops, my mistake. So, no Noed. So now we know he can't one-shot us, or move a little bit faster. Okay, let's skip through a little bit. Back here, I'm looking around, trying to look for Kate. I see the Claudette. If the Claudette starts running, I know that Freddy's after her. She starts walking, and I unhook myself now. I sadly don't know where Freddy is. Kate sadly ran all the way down here for nothing. I have to Dead Hard to avoid the swing. He gets her, which is depressing. I see this exit gate is 99, so I'm thinking, okay, one of them is 99, what about the other one? Whew. I should have gotten something more to drink. My throat is now parched. Oh well. Okay, so we just saw Freddy phase into existence. We see his red stain. We see that gate is at 0%. Claudette is the only one we can hope on getting the save on Kate while we are in chase with Freddy. So let's see what we do. We stick close to the wall and then we switch immediately to LT. We do this because we do not trust that window back there. We fast vault and walk slowly. Or hold on, let me rewind just a little bit. We fast vault and then walk slowly. We want to check, is he going to walk this way or is he going to vault? We see he's walking this way. I'm keeping my eyes open for him. I fast vault this, stick close to the wall, keeping my eyes on the corners. And he immediately leaves. The reason being, Kate just got unhooked. And he wants to get this down. Luckily, Claude has full HP, he doesn't have Noed, meaning Claude can tank a hit. I go back to sleep, and now Claude just took a hit, and the exit gate just opened. Meaning, what I now know is that Freddy is all the way over there, but the other two survivors. And these two can leave at any time. And they can stall Freddy as long as they want. They can make him look like a clown. Meaning that I can spend as much time as necessary to open this exit gate. I'm holding M1, keeping my pressure on the exit gate to try and escape. Claudette just left. Meaning that Kate is still around somewhere. Either she's distracting Freddy, or she is still around the exit gate. As we saw, Freddy's all the way over here, and Kate just left. We have literally a few more seconds before the exit gate opens, so we are praying, pretty much, for the gate to open faster. Freddy is walking towards us, but luckily we managed to get the exit gate open just fast enough that we get enough distance, and we escape. And that is the end of the clip. So, in the end, what did we learn? With Freddy, it's more a choice of preference, whether you want to stay awake or asleep. If you're awake, you are unaffected by any of his powers, but if you're asleep, you have the chance of getting slowed by his snares or getting fooled by his pallets, but doesn't really matter too much. He can teleport around the map, which is really disastrous if used properly. But since we got rid of his ruin, we managed to get a lot of pressure out, which caused Freddy to lose a lot. We learned with LT walls and Killer Shack. Give me a second. We learned with LT walls and Killer Shack that sometimes you want to be patient, or not even with Killer Shack. It's my mistake. We just learned with LT walls that we need to be more patient. Stick around corners or so, just keeping your eyes open for red stains and such. And also, we manipulated everything to our advantage using Deliverance as well as Dead Hard, and even a few other things. I used Diversion a little bit later in this video, which was just for a little bit of fun. But that's all I have to really say. This is a little bit more of a lengthy video, but it's just a review on one of my gameplays, just to show off some things that you can keep in mind when playing against the Freddy or playing in DBD around some tiles in general. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck in your games, everybody.